Ilango, you can start.
A very good morning to everyone. I welcome you all to the webinar on Social Justice Day, this wonderful occasion. To start with the 3, I invite college choir team for the prayer song. Thank you so much, choir team, for the beautiful rendition of the prayer song. Next, I myself would like to give the welcome address for this seminar. A very warm morning to each one present here. I'm Malnourishment Shivakumar, second year BA Economics. On behalf of everyone off screen, feel extremely privileged for having given me this opportunity. Welcome you all to the seminar on Social Justice Day. Firstly, I would like to welcome our esteemed administrators of our college, Honorable Chairman, Chevalier Dr. N.R. Dhanapalan sir, Secretary, Mr. N.R.D. Prem Kumar sir, Joint Secretary, Dr. P.R. Premchand sir, to this gathering. I humbly welcome our chief guest of the day, Mr. M. Dhanashekhar, Assistant Professor of Sociology, School of Law, Withdrawal University. We are extremely happy to welcome you, sir, for this virtual meet on Social Justice Day. I would also like to welcome our respected principal, Dr. C. Inita Lebanon Evansi ma'am, our beloved vice principal, Mrs. Jafia Solomon ma'am, respected faculty members, and the charming student community on this beautiful occasion. It is no doubt that we will be able to imbibe more knowledge relating to social justice, for we got such an eminent personality as speaker of this program and our chief guest. Now, I invite Mrs. Prasanna Muralidharan ma'am, Assistant Professor, Economics Department, to give the guest presentations.
A very good morning to one and all gathered here in this virtual meet. I'm indeed privileged to read a few words of introduction of the speaker of this program, Mr. Dhanashekhar sir. Mr. Dhanashekhar is currently serving as an Assistant Professor of Sociology, School of Law, World Tech University right from 2019, and still his service continues in that university. Prior, he has worked as an Assistant Professor of Sociology in School of Law, Savitha University. And sir has published a book in sociology, and to his credit, he has got more than 5 articles in reputed journals. He also presented papers in various conferences, workshops, and also attended FTP program in E and ICT Academy, Guwahati. He is also a lifetime member of Indian Sociological Society. And prior, he has worked with various NGOs in the field of education and child labor as content developer developer and project coordinator. He has been conducting and coordinating the annual status of education report survey in more than 150 schools in Chennai, developing content for activity-based learning for primary school children. He has worked with child labor in brickyards of Kanchipuram and Tiruvallur district for their educational development and upliftment. Sir has associated with an international sociological research project conducted by the Society for Economic and Social Studies, New Delhi, in collaboration with Department of Sociology, Delhi School of Economics, University of Delhi, and University of Kyoto, Japan, on the topic Practices and Attitudes in the Family in Delhi, Chennai, and Rohtak. He has served as a North Chennai district convener for National Children's Science Congress program organized by the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India and Tamil Nadu Science Forum during the period 2007 to 2009. Sir, being a sociologist, he is actively involved in visually documenting people's life and various social issues. His recent short documentary has been critically acclaimed and won several national and international awards and recognition in various film festivals such as International Film Festival of Adu 2019 Kerala, IDSFFK 2019 Kerala, Matrovsky Film Festival Serbia, Russia, PCISFF 2019 Pune, Petna, Texas, USA, and so on. I welcome you, sir. Thank you.
I'd like to invite our respected principal, Dr. C. Inita Lebanon Ebansi, ma'am, for the special address on this seminar.
Happy morning to one and all present in this webinar. On behalf of the college management, our chairman Chevalier Dr. N. Dhanabalan, our secretary Mr. Prem Kumar, our joint secretary Dr. P. Premchand, I welcome our guest and all other participants for this webinar. So this webinar is especially to embark the importance of the Social Justice Day. So many a times, people are even fail to hear sometimes. So they say like real hearing can solve many problems. So even the hearing is not done, so we cannot definitely think about justice at many points. So here, the first point I would say is students should be aware of the disparity that is found in the society, like many people's voices are not heard. So this program will definitely orient you and enlighten you to ensure how the people's voices can be heard so that the social justice can be given to them. I really appreciate the Department of Economics, the head, Mr. Anbarasu, and his team for arranging this webinar for a very good cause, like you can orient the students on this regard. On behalf of the management and the department, I also welcome the guest of the day, Mr. Dhanasekaran M, Assistant Professor of Sociology, School of Law, Withdrawal University. We are very pleased to have you, sir, and I request all the students to make use of this session. And I also extend my special thanks for the technical assistance support and support rendered by Mr. Yuvanesh Kumar and all the administrative support which is rendered by Mr. Logu for the conduct of this program. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the pleasing words, ma'am. I request our chief guest of the day humbly to address this occasion and the seminar.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for your kindness. So whether my voice is audible?
Yes, sir, it's audible, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So first of all, I would like to thank the management, the principal, Dr. C. Inita Lebanon Ebensi ma'am, and the HOD of Department of Economics, Mr. Anbarasu sir, for inviting me to interact with the students of Untitled College of Arts and Science. So at a personal level, actually, I am happy to see that a private institution taking up this World Day of Social Justice and celebrating in this particular era. So these days, so we all know that where the institutions are busy in producing uh, the skill-based technocrats in this society, which doesn't bother about any moral values or human values or uh, the equality, freedom, or social justice. So I'm really happy that your institution, Anna Violet College of Arts and Science, is taking up these kinds of occasions and making it a chance to introduce to the students certain concepts which relates to the benefits of the society. Thank you very much. So to start with, maybe I think I can make my lecture or the speech in both the languages. In both, I'll keep it bilingual, okay? Both English and Tamil combined together. So let me share the slide. So are you able to see this slide?
Yes, sir. You can start your slideshow, sir.
Okay, okay, yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so every year,
Sir, sorry to interrupt, sir. Your slideshow is not started. We can able to view the PPT, the template. Yes, yes, sir. That one.
okay, yeah, thank you. Okay. So every year we celebrate this World Day of Social Justice on 20th February 2022. So this year it was on Sunday. I think that's the reason why we are having a lecture related to it on Monday. So the topic that I have framed for this speech is the social justice and inequality in contemporary India. So this is the topic that I have framed for this particular speech. So when we look at the overview of World Day of Social Justice, so as I told you, it is celebrated every year on 20th of February since 2009 on the promotion of United Nations organizations. So this year, every year there will be a theme for this particular day. So this year the theme is achieving social justice through formal employment as a prerequisite for reducing poverty and inequality. So, as I told you, I have framed the topic which focuses on social justice and inequality. So, before entering into the actual lessons of the topic, so let us try to understand what actually inequality is. So, it refers to the unequal distribution of resources such as power, wealth, and income, and opportunities related to health, education, and employment. So when we speak about this inequality, let us just go back and look at ourselves, how we evolved as a society. So first of all, when we compare ourselves to other animals, we human beings are very poor in adapting to the natural environment. So what we do is that, say for example, if you just relate the human child with any other species or any other animals. The human child takes such a long time to withstand on its own. There is a reason behind it. There is a genetic reason behind it. நீங்க இந்த இந்த பூமியில எந்த ஒரு உயிரினமும் வந்து ஒரு குட்டி போட்ட உடனே வந்து இம்மீடியட்டா சில மணி நேரங்கள்ல அது தன்னுடைய சர்வைவலுக்காக அது தனியா போக ஆரம்பிச்சிடும். இல்லைன்னா வந்து ரொம்ப சீக்கிரமா அது வந்து சர்வை பண்ண கத்துக்கும். ஆனா ஒரு மனித குழந்தை மட்டும் வந்து கிட்டத்தட்ட வந்து முழுசா அது வளர்ச்சி அடைய 3 வயசு வரைக்கும் தேவைப்படுது. Until then it is completely dependent on some other human being, that is their parents. ஏன் அந்த டிஃபரன்ஸ் அப்படின்னா, because we are very poor in adopting ourselves to the natural environment. Okay, so we need such a long time to adopt ourselves to the environment that we live in. நீங்க வேற எந்த உயிரினம் எடுத்துக்கிட்டாலும் வந்து there are only 2 simple reasons for that ஸ்பீஷியஸ். ஒன்று வந்து அந்த உயிரினத்தினுடைய சர்வைவல் டெக்னிக்ஸை கற்றுக்கணும். இன்னொன்று வந்து அந்த உயிரினம் வந்து ரீப்ரொடக்டிவ் ஆக்டிவிட்டியில இன்வால்வ் ஆகும். ஆனால் ஹியூமன் பீயிங்ஸ் மட்டும்தான் வந்து நம்ம இயற்கையிலேருந்து ரொம்ப விலகி வந்து நமக்கான சிஸ்டமை நம்மளே உருவாக்கிட்டதுனால we created language, we created culture, we created the customs, we created the complex society within us or around us. அப்போ இந்த இவ்வளவு காம்ப்ளிகேஷன்ஸ் ஒரு மனித மூளை கிரகிக்கணும் அப்படின்னா அதுக்கு ரொம்ப காலம் எடுக்கும். That is the reason why the human child takes such a long time to survive on its own. So what we do is that நம்ம என்ன பண்றோம் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, நேச்சுரல் என்விரான்மெண்ட்டுக்கு நம்ம இயற்கையிலேயே அடாப்ட் ஆக முடியாததுனால we exploit the natural environment, we intervene with that, and then we try to fulfill our own needs. நீங்க கொஞ்சம் நம்மளுடைய லைஃப்பை நீங்க ஒரு ஆழமா யோசிச்சு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா உங்களுக்கு தெரியும். நம்மளுடைய உணவு, நிலத்தை இன்டர்வெயின் பண்ணி நம்ம உணவை ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்றோம், சரிங்களா? நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணக்கூடிய கேட்ஜெட்ஸ்ல இருந்து ட்ரெஸ்ல இருந்து எல்லாமே வந்து நம்ம நேச்சுரல் ரிசோர்சஸை எக்ஸ்ப்ளாய்ட் பண்ணி அது மூலயமா நம்ம சர்வைவல் ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜிஸை நம்ம உருவாக்கிக்கிறோம் அப்படின்றது. ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் வாட் இஸ் தி பேசிக் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் ஆஃப் தி ஹவு வி ஹியூமன்ஸ் ஆஸ் அ சொசைட்டி வி இவால்வ். ஸோ அப்போ இந்த நேச்சுரல் ரிசோர்சஸை எக்ஸ்ப்ளாய்ட் பண்ணி அதை இந்த மனித கூட்டத்துக்கு வந்து டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூட் பண்ணோம் இல்லையா, அதுக்கு நம்ம ஒரு மாடலை உருவாக்கி வச்சிருக்கோம் மாடர்ன் சொசைட்டில. வி கால் இட் ஆஸ் கேபிட்டலிஸ்ட் மாடல் ஆர் கேபிட்டலிசம். So if you are an economics student, you would have heard about or you know very well about what is capitalism. So capitalist model அப்படின்னா நம்ம ரொம்ப சிம்பிளா நம்ம புரிய வைக்கணும்னா நம்ம ரொம்ப ஃபேமஸான ஒரு மாம்பழ கதையில இருந்து நம்ம அதை புரிய வைக்கலாம். ஸோ என்ன அது மாம்பழ கதை அப்படின்னா, ஒரு 100 மாம்பழம் இருக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு மாமரத்துக்கு கீழே 100 பேர் இருந்தாங்க அப்படின்னா ஆளுக்கு ஒரு பழம் கிடைக்கணும் அப்படின்றது தான் இயற்கையினுடைய விதி, அதுதான் இயற்கையினுடைய தர்மம். ஆனா அதுல வேகமா ஒரு 5 பேரு திறமையின் பெயராலேயோ இல்ல பேராசையின் பெயராலேயோ இல்லைன்னா அதிகார பலத்தின் பெயராலேயோ வேகமா மற்றவங்கள விட 5 பழம் அதிகமா எடுத்துட்டாங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னா மீதி இருக்கக்கூடிய 20 பேர் ஒரு பழம் கூட கிடைக்காம பசியில வாடி வதங்கி அந்த அதிக பழம் வச்சிருக்கிற அந்த 5 பேர்கிட்ட மண்டிட்டு நிற்பாங்க. அந்த அதிக பழம் வச்சிருக்கிற அந்த 5 பேரு அதுல இருந்து ஒரு பழத்தை எடுத்து கொடுத்து இவங்க கிட்ட அந்த பழத்தை நட வச்சு அதை செடியாக்கி அதை மரமாக்க வச்சு அவங்க கிட்டேயே அதுல இருந்து 100 பழங்களை பறிக்க வச்சு அந்த 100 பழங்கள்ல இருந்து ஒரு பழத்தை சம்பளமா கொடுக்கறது தான் இங்க வந்து நடந்துட்டு இருக்கு. அப்படிதான் நம்ம சொசைட்டி இயங்கிட்டு இருக்கு. அதுக்கு பேர் தான் நம்ம கேபிட்டலிஸ்ட் மாடல் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு சொல்றோம். ஓகே, ஸோ இது ரொம்ப காலமா இந்த ட்ரெடிஷ்னல் கேபிட்டலிஸ்ட் மாடல் வந்து இயங்கிட்டு இருக்கு. இது இப்படி போயிட்டு இருக்கு. ஸோ நீங்க ஒரு டேர்ம் கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்பீங்க. 1991ல நமக்கு நியோ லிபரல் பாலிசிஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒன்று இம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் பண்ணாங்க. ஸோ என்ன ஆச்சு அப்படின்னா, இந்த கேபிட்டலிஸ்ட் மாடல்ல ஒரு அரசாங்கங்கள்ல வந்து என்ன பண்ணும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, அப்போ இந்த அந்த பணக்காரர்கள் வந்து ஒரு கூட்டம் வந்து பணக்கார கூட்டமா இருக்கும், இல்ல ஒரு பெரும் கூட்டம் ஏழைகளினுடைய கூட்டமா இருக்கும், இல்லைன்னா ஒர்க்கிங் கிளாஸ் கூட்டமா இருக்கும். ஸோ இப்படி இருக்கும்போது அந்த பணக்காரர்கள் கிட்ட நிறைய வரி போடுவாங்க. ஸோ தே இம்போஸ் டேக்ஸ், ஹியூஜ் டேக்ஸ் ஆன் தி ரிச், so that they will get it and they will spend it for the working class or the poor people. இதுதான் கவர்மெண்ட் ஒரு வேலையா இருந்துச்சு ரொம்ப காலத்துக்கு, until neoliberal policies has been implemented. ஸோ இந்த நியோலிபரல் பாலிசிஸ் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம்னா 1991ல 91ல நம்ம இந்தியாவில் வந்து இந்த பாலிசிஸ் இம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் பண்றதுக்காக கையெழுத்து போட்டாங்க. ஸோ அப்போ அதை ஷார்ட்டா நம்ம எல்பிஜி அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம், லிபரலைசேஷன், பிரைவேடைசேஷன் அண்ட் குளோபலைசேஷன். இது என்ன அப்படின்னா, இந்த பாலிசிஸ் என்ன சொல்லுது அப்படின்னா, எந்த நாட்டுல இருந்து யாரு வேணாலும் எந்த நாட்டுக்கு வேணாலும் போயிட்டு அவங்க வியாபாரம் பண்ணிக்கலாம். there is no restrictions. முன்னாடிலாம் வந்து நிறைய ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்ஷன்ஸ் இருக்கும். நீங்க 90ஸ்லாம் பார்த்தோம்னா, ஐ திங்க் சீனியர் பீப்புள் would be aware of it. நீங்க 80ஸ்ல 90ஸ்க்கு முன்னாடி வரைக்கும் நம்ம பார்த்தோம்னா, ஒரு ஃபாரின்ல இருந்து ஒரு பொருள் வரணும்னா இங்க நம்ம சென்னை பர்மா பஜார்ல அந்த லைனா அந்த கடைங்க இருக்கும். அங்கதான் வந்து இந்த ஃபாரின்ல இருந்து இந்த டிவிடிஸ் வரும், அப்புறம் அந்த கேமராஸ் வரும், பைனாகுலர்ஸ் வரும். இது எல்லாமே வந்து ரொம்ப அதிசயமான ஒரு பொருட்களா இருக்கும். பட் டுடே இந்த நியோலிபரல் பாலிசிஸ் மூலயமா கவர்மெண்ட் வந்து இந்த இம்போர்ட் பண்றதுக்கும் எக்ஸ்போர்ட் பண்றதுக்குமான ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்ஷன்ஸ் எல்லாமே எடுத்துட்டாங்க. யார் வேணாலும் எந்த நாட்டுல இருந்து வேணாலும் எந்த நாட்டுக்கு வேணாலும் போய் வியாபாரம் பண்ணிக்கலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஸோ அதனுடைய விளைவாக தான் வந்து இன்னைக்கு இருக்கிற ஜென்ரேஷன், நம்ம கையில செல்போன்ஸ் இருக்குது, நமக்கு கேஜெட்ஸ் இருக்குது, நமக்கு வந்து அமேசான்ல யூஎஸ்ல ஒரு பொருள் இருந்துச்சுன்னா நமக்கு 1 வீக்ல வந்து நமக்கு நம்ம வீட்டுக்கு வந்து டெலிவரி ஆகுறது. ஸோ இது எல்லாமே வந்து இந்த நியோலிபரல் பாலிசிஸ்னுடைய ஆஃப்டர் எஃபெக்ட்ஸ் தான். ஸோ அப்படிதான் வந்து இது இயங்கிட்டு. ஸோ இது இது என்ன ப்ராப்ளம் ஒரு கிரியேட் பண்ணுச்சு இந்த நியோலிபரல் பாலிசிஸ். ஆஸ் அ ரிசல்ட் என்ன ஆச்சு அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, இதனால யார் பெனிஃபிட் அடைஞ்சாங்க அப்படின்னா, தி டாப் 1 to 3%, இந்த பெரும் முதலைகள்னு சொல்லக்கூடிய பெரும் முதலாளிகள் வந்து அவங்க ஒரு கட்டற்ற லாபத்தை அவங்க வந்து சம்பாதிச்சாங்க. தி ரிமைனிங் பாட்டம் 97%, they were the sufferers, especially the bottom 50% of the population in a country like India. They suffered a lot, still suffering a lot. So let us look at the world statistics on inequality. After this neoliberal policies has been implemented, in the inequality ஏற்றத்தாழ்வு வந்து எந்த அளவுக்கு இருக்கு அப்படின்றத we will just go on with the statistics. So here when we speak about inequality, it has been said that ஒரு modern worldல what is the fastest growing sector அப்படின்னா, it is not the IT sector, it is not a pharma companies, it's not any other sector, it's the inequality which is growing faster and faster day by day. Okay, so according to the organization called Oxfam, so they calculate all these wealth statistics and they give a report every year. So அவங்களுடைய 2013 report படி just 85 individuals in this planet, just 85 individuals, they own the same wealth as the bottom 3.5 billion people on the planet. அதாவது இந்த பூமியில 700 கோடி பேர் இருக்காங்கன்னா 350 கோடி பேருடைய ஒட்டுமொத்த சொத்துக்கள் எவ்வளவு இருக்கோ அந்த சொத்துக்களை வந்து வெறும் 85 இண்டிவிஜுவல்ஸ் வந்து ஓன் பண்றாங்க அப்படின்றதுதான் இந்த ஆக்ஸ்ஃபாமுடைய ஒரு ரிப்போர்ட் சொல்லுது. இன்னொரு சைட்ல பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, this is one particular side, 85 individuals owning the wealth, same wealth as the bottom 3.5 billion people on the planet. On the other end of the spectrum, the United Nations World Food Program in 2001, UNWFP, it estimated that 830 million people go hungry every day. Among them, 95% are from developing countries. ஒவ்வொரு நாளும் வந்து பசியோட தூங்க போறவன் மட்டும் 830 மில்லியன் பீப்புள் இருக்கான் அந்த உலகத்துல. And according to the same report of UNWFP, among that 800 million people, 200 million are children under the age of 5 goes hungry every day to sleep. So this is another part of spectrum. So you can just imagine how this inequality, or the extent of inequality operates in this particular society. So when you take the case of India, so you can just look at this picture. You will try to understand if India has been divided like wealth, you will see like this. So the top 1% owns 51.5% of national wealth. So the next 9% owns 26% of wealth in our country. இது ரெண்டுமே நம்ம சேர்த்தோம்னா the top 10% owns 77.5% of total wealth in our country. So the bottom 90% owns 22.5% of the nation's wealth. அதுலயும் கூட நீங்க அந்த bottom 90%ல the 40%, that is அதை ரெண்டா ஸ்ப்ளிட் பண்ணீங்க அப்படின்னா the least 50% and the 40%. The 40% own 17.8% of wealth, and the remaining least bottom 50% owns just 4.8% of national wealth. நீங்க ஒரு இந்தியா மாதிரியான ஒரு மிகப்பெரிய நாட்டுல ஒரு half the population, ஒரு 50% of population are owning just 4.8% of wealth. அப்படின்னா எவ்வளவு கம்மியான வெல்த் இவ்வளவு பாப்புலேஷனுக்கு வந்து பிரிச்சு கொடுக்கும்போது அவங்களுடைய லைஃப் ஸ்டைல் எப்படி இருக்கும் அப்படின்றது வந்து நான் உங்க கற்பனைக்கே நான் விட்டது. Okay, so let me give you this is a very interesting thing. So let me give you another example of how inequality works in our country, or what is the extent of inequality in our country. See, this is an apartment where you can see in the Mumbai-Pune highway. So இது வந்து totally there is 75 floors, 37 on one side and other 37 on the other side, and in the center top there is one particular flat. So this this is built in Maharashtra in the Mumbai-Pune highway near Mumbai. So the speciality of this apartment or this flat is that every flat contains a separate or customized swimming pool attached to it. So you can see the pictures. Over flat may vandu or swimming pool irukku. So this Maharashtra, the interesting factor is that every year the news is that in Maharashtra many cities and many districts are drought prone areas. So on one hand you have this hash post apartments with the attached swimming pool in it for each and every flat, which means that 75 swimming pools are there in this flat. So you can just imagine how many gallons of water is being involved to fill these swimming pools. These are all fresh waters. Okay, this is on one hand. And the other part of Mumbai is that, so this is a picture from a Mumbai slum. You can just see how people are devastatingly struggling for the water for their daily life. So this is another extreme. So you have two extremes. On one hand, you have the news hitting every year that there are several districts in Maharashtra which are drought prone area. On the other hand, you have this luxury villas and flats, which each flat cost a few crores of rupees. Okay, and there is also an interesting interview that has been done by Mr. P. Sainath on this particular. So when he asked these builders the migrant construction laborers who are involved in building these apartments. Who are they? So they are the migrant laborers who came out of their hometowns, so of their district, because of the droughts that they are facing in their district. இந்த தண்ணி பஞ்சம் இருக்கிறதுனால அவங்க அங்கிருந்து மைக்ரேட் ஆகி வந்து இங்க இந்த ஸ்விம்மிங் பூல்ஸ் வந்து கட்டுறதுக்கு, இந்த அபார்ட்மெண்ட்ஸ் கட்டுறதுக்காக இங்க வேலை செஞ்சுட்டு இருக்காங்க அப்படின்றது தான் அந்த இன்டர்வியூல சொன்ன நிறைய. ஸோ தீஸ் ஆர் தி டூ எக்ஸ்ட்ரீம்ஸ் facets of inequality that we can see in our country. This is the new India that we are living in, and the level of inequality that we live in is been in every sphere of life, and we are going to see more and more of it in the near future. So when it comes to the report of United Nations Habitat in 2003, it makes a assessment that by 2030, 1/3 of humanity is going to live in urban slums. So more and more people, we are having more and more people migrating from various parts of the countryside. That is, the agriculture is being diminishing on one hand. There is no support for agriculture. People are starting migrating to the urban places for in search of menial jobs, and obviously they will end up in urban slums. So that's the report of UN Habitat, which makes that assessment by 2030, 1/3 of humanity is going to live in urban slums, and majority of them are going to be in India and Africa. That is one more factor, the bitter factor that we have, bitter fact that we have in front of us. So when we look at the malnourishment part, when you take in India, the malnourishment among children in India is 46% according to the National Family Health Survey of this particular country. So do you know what is the average malnourishment in sub-Saharan and African countries? It is between 25 to 30%. So you just compare. Whenever we speak about poverty, whenever we speak about malnourishment, whenever we speak about diseases among children, we often imagine that it is somewhat like African countries, and India will never come into our picture. But the reality is that malnourishment among children in India is 46%, which is higher than more than 15 or 16% than the African countries. That is the bitter truth that we are facing in our country today. So what can be done? There are simple solutions for this, addressing these kind of social problems, or addressing these kind of social injustices that has been happening to the common man or the downtrodden people. So the Nisha Agarwal, CEO of Oxfam India, estimates that the wealth tax of merely 1.5% on just 65 individuals of the super rich in India could potentially lift 90 million people out of poverty. So you just imagine, you just tax just 65 super rich in this country, 65 individuals who are super rich in this country, tax them 1.5%, okay, and immediately you can lift 90 million people out of poverty. That is the report that is being given by the CEO of Oxfam. And whether the question is whether this will happen in our country. That is the question that that faces us bitterly. So I'll give you one statistics. This will not happen in our country because there is a reason behind it. Okay, so there is a watchdog body that is whenever the elections are going on in our country, every 5 years, the biggest watchdog body of the electoral functioning is Association for Democratic Reforms, ADR, shortly we call it as ADR. So this ADR has analyzed the electoral affidavit that has been filed by the elected representatives of the member of parliament. அதாவது ஒவ்வொரு தடவையும் வந்து இந்த எம்பிஸ் இருக்காங்க இல்லையா, மெம்பர் ஆஃப் பார்லிமெண்ட்ஸ் இருக்காங்க இல்லையா, அவங்களுடைய எலக்டோரல் அஃபிடவிட்டை அவங்க அனலைஸ் பண்ணி அவங்க ஒரு ரிப்போர்ட் கொடுக்குறாங்க. ஸோ தீஸ் எலக்டோரல் அஃபிடவிட்ஸ் ஆர் அவைலபிள் இன் Election Commission of India's website itself. You can also see that it is open to all actually. So till 2000s, what will happen is that, or what had happened is that there will be a small person, a normal person who will be having a puncture shop, a two-wheeler puncture shop, or a person who will be pulling a rickshaw. They are the people, they will be associated with some political party, and they had a chance to contest in the election, and many of them has won in the elections. That sort of democracy we had for a long time. அதாவது ஒரு சாமானிய மனிதனும் ஏதோ ஒரு அரசியல் கட்சி சார்பா நின்று போட்டி போட்டு அவர் ஒரு அந்த ஏரியால நல்ல பேர் எடுத்திருந்தாரு மக்கள் மத்தியில அப்படின்னா அவர் அந்த எலெக்ஷன்ல ஜெயிக்க முடியும். அப்படிதான் ரொம்ப காலமா இருந்துச்சு. ஆனா after 2000 the scenario has been totally changed. So according to the report of Association for Democratic Reforms, in 2004, 32% of all MPs, including Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, 32% of all MPs were crorepathies. Okay, so in 2009, that increased to 53%. So 2009, 53% of all MPs were crorepathies in India. And in 2014, it further raised to 82%. It further raised to 82%. That which means that 82% of all the members of parliament are crorepathies. And in 2019 elections, this has further risen into 88.2%. Today we have our members of parliament, 88.2% of the member of parliament, including both the Lok Sabhas and Rajya Sabhas, are crorepathies. So these are the people, these are the, and we also know how this election affidavits are being filed. So how far they are true, and if you go through, it's very funny also. ஸோ எவ்வளோ தூரம் அவங்க உண்மையான சொத்து விவரங்களை எலெக்ஷன் அஃபிடவிட்ல ஃபைல் பண்ணுவாங்கன்றது நம்ம எல்லாருக்குமே தெரிஞ்ச கதை தான். பட் இன்ஸ்பைட் ஆஃப் தட், அவங்க ஃபைல் பண்ண அந்த டேட்டா படியே பார்க்கும்போது கூட நம்மளுடைய நம்பர்ஸ் இந்த அளவுக்கு வந்துடும். ஓகே, so in 2019 we have, as of now we have 88% or 88.2% of all MPs belongs to they are crorepathies. So it's an these are the people, they are going to represent the millions of poorest in this planet. These are, but they are representing. That's the irony that we have, or that's the bitter truth that we have in our country in front of our face. So they are representing. You just imagine how these crorepathies who are sitting there in the parliament as members of the parliament, how they are going to represent the pain and the agony of agricultural laborer who works for 200 rupees per day. How they will be able to understand the aspirations of that agricultural laborer, how they will be able to understand the sufferings of that agricultural laborer or the construction laborer. So that is really pathetic. So they don't even know, or they can't even understand the lifestyle of the millions of poor people in this country, but still they are representing us. That is the pathetic irony that we have in our country today. Okay, so going to this particular the next topic, the withdrawal of power by governments and corporate takeover. So this is a very important topic that has to be discussed. So what is this withdrawal of power by governments and corporate takeover? So here, before the neoliberal policies, as I told you, this liberalization, privatization, and globalization has been implemented. Before that, what happened is that the governments had a lot of power so that they can use those power to extract the tax from the wealthier and use that money in turn for the to address the social issues. Okay, that is what was happening till 1990s. So in that we all know that in that there will be some corruptions that will be going on, and this party will blame that party. All these are happening, but still, in spite of that, the government had power to extract the tax from the super rich and spend it to the poor people to address their social problems, to address their hunger, to address their poverty, to address the healthcare issue, to address the issue of education, etc., etc. So after this neoliberal policies has been implemented, what happened is that we have now given more power to the corporations to control their wealth and to take it out of the tax system. So இப்போ இந்த சமீப காலமா என்ன நடக்குது அப்படின்னா, அந்த அரசாங்கத்தினுடைய அதிகாரம் வந்து இந்த கார்ப்பரேட் மேல இருக்கக்கூடிய அதிகாரம் கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா அது டைல்யூட் ஆகி இப்போ கார்ப்பரேட்ஸே வந்து அவங்க வெல்த்தை பாதுகாக்கிறதுக்கும் இல்ல அந்த டாக்ஸ் சிஸ்டம்ல இருந்து வெளியே இருக்கிறதுக்கு அவங்களுக்கு வந்து அளவு கடந்த அந்த பவரை வந்து we have given in the sense the governments have given that. Okay, so what will happen or what happens as a result? So அப்போ ஒரு காலத்துல வந்து கவர்மெண்ட்ஸ்க்கு கையில இருந்தக்கூடிய அந்த பவரை கார்ப்பரேட் கையில டிரான்ஸ்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணதுனால என்ன நடந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா, as a result, firstly the companies or the big corporations have grown richer and richer, as we have seen previously in the data. The data itself evidently shows that they have grown richer and richer for all the taxes that they may not be paying, that has been accumulated in their wealth asset. That is one thing. Secondly, the government's capacity to address these kind of social issues or social problems is being reduced. ஏன்னா அவங்க கையில காசு இல்லை. நீங்க வந்து சூப்பர் ரிச்சை டாக்ஸ் பண்ணும்போது தான் வந்து அந்த காசை வச்சு இதுக்கு இவ்வளவு செலவு பண்ணலாம், கல்விக்கு இவ்வளவு செலவு பண்ணலாம், வறுமைக்கு இவ்வளவு செலவு பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு கவர்மெண்ட் கால்குலேட் பண்ண முடியும். ஸோ இங்க சூப்பர் ரிச்சை டாக்ஸ் பண்ண முடியாததுனால கவர்மெண்ட் கையில இங்க போதுமான பணம் கிடையாது. That's what they are. If you observe the political scenario, what is happening in our country or throughout the world, not only in India, throughout the world, the public sector units is being sold out. That is what is happening to make money. The government itself is selling its own property, even though if it makes profit, it is being sold out for very cheap prices to address this kind of issue or to make money. That is what is happening. So ultimately what happens is that the government has less money in its hands. So on the other hand, the social problem starts to grow. These are all chain process. Okay, these are all chain process. You try to understand this. On one hand, the rich becomes super rich because they are not going to pay any taxes and they are accumulating wealth without any kind of restrictions from the governments throughout the world. They are going super rich. On the other hand, the government has got very less money to address the social issues, so that on the other spectrum, the social issues they are growing on the other hand. That is what is happening. So what happens is that when the social problems arise, so the same corporations who have been benefited by the policies of the government, they come into the picture. இவங்க என்ன பண்றாங்கன்னா மறுபடியும் இங்க வந்துட்டு வாட் அ ஷேம், இந்த கவர்மெண்ட் இதை வந்து சரியா பாக்குறது இல்ல, இந்த நமக்கு வந்து பாவர்ட்டி இருக்கு, நமக்கு வந்து ஹங்கர் இருக்கு, நமக்கு இங்க எஜுகேஷன் ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்கு, இங்க வாட்டர் கிரைசிஸ் இருக்கு. So as a solution, we are going to privatize it once again. That is what is happening. So they are just taking over that, and they are privatizing even the basic necessities, which is responsible for the government. So as a result, what happens is that finally, இங்க காசு இருக்கிறவன் மட்டும்தான் இந்த பேசிக் ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸ் ஆக்சஸ் பண்ண முடியும். உதாரணத்துக்கு எலக்ட்ரிசிட்டி வந்து ப்ராப்பரா இல்லையா, ஜஸ்ட் பிரைவேடைஸ் இட். ஓகே, தி எஜுகேஷன் சிஸ்டம் ப்ராப்பரா இல்லையா, ஜஸ்ட் பிரைவேடைஸ் இட். இங்க ஹெல்த் கேர் சிஸ்டம் ப்ராப்பரா இல்லையா, ஜஸ்ட் பிரைவேடைஸ் இட். ஸோ அல்டிமேட்லி வாட் ஹேப்பன்ஸ், ஒரு பிரைவேட் கிட்ட போச்சுன்னா தேர் அல்டிமேட் மோட்டிவ் இஸ் ப்ராஃபிட். ஸோ ஃபைனலி தோஸ் பீப்புள் ஹூ கேன் அஃபோர்ட் ஃபார் தீஸ் சர்வீசஸ், யார்கிட்ட காசு இருக்கோ அவங்க இந்த சர்வீசஸ் அவைல் பண்ணலாம். காசு இல்லாதவங்க they are allowed to die slowly. That is what is happening in this country. And how this corporates, they are doing this, how they are making this. On one hand, they are I hope you would have heard about the term called corporate lobbying. So corporate lobbying is nothing but they are negotiating with the people who are in the power, the governmental power. They are negotiating by any means. அது லஞ்சம் கொடுத்தோ இல்லை வேற ஏதாவது பண்ணியோ இவங்களுக்கு சாதகமான சட்டங்களையும் பாலிசிஸையும் வந்து இவங்க நாளுக்கு நாள் அதை உருவாக்கிட்டே இருக்கிறாங்க. ஸோ தட்ஸ் வாட் இட் இஸ் எவிடென்ட். நீங்க இப்போ இந்தியாவில் இருக்கக்கூடிய லேபர் லாஸா இருக்கட்டும், இல்லை வேர்ல்டு வைடு இருக்கக்கூடிய லேபர் லாஸா இருக்கட்டும், அந்தந்த கண்ட்ரீஸ்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய லேபர் லாஸ், டே பை டே தி லேபர் லாஸ் இஸ் பீன் டைல்யூட்டட். Day by day, the labor laws has been twitched to favor the corporates or to favor the super rich. ஓகே, அப்போ உதாரணத்துக்கு 8 மணி நேரம் தான் வேலை அப்படின்ட்டு ஒரு டைம்ல இருந்தது, 12 மணி நேரமும் வந்து வேலை செய்யலாம், அது வந்து லீகல் தான் அப்படின்ட்டு நிறைய கண்ட்ரீஸ்ல ஆல்ரெடி மாத்தியாச்சு. ஸோ இந்த கார்பரேட் லாபிங் மூலயமா இந்த கவர்மெண்ட்ஸ் இந்த கார்பரேட் என்ன பண்றாங்க அப்படின்னா, இந்த கவர்மெண்ட்ஸ் தே ஆர் ஸ்ட்ரெஸ்ஸிங் தெம் டு மேக் லாஸ் அண்ட் பாலிசிஸ் இன் ஃபேவர் ஆஃப் தெம். ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் அ picture that shows how the tax cuts benefits those at the top. So the top 1% receives 34% of the total benefits, and the lowest fifth one, they are receiving just 1% of the benefits. You can just understand by looking at this picture itself. So how injustice and how unequal the resources is being distributed in our world. So, and these are the statistics that shows that that gives us the evidence that through corporate lobbying, how the corporations are making the governments to bend and make laws to favor them. So each year it is estimated that one company alone spends $53 million for corporate lobbying alone. For corporate lobbying alone, you just imagine the entire corporations, that is the corporates, how much millions of dollars they are spending, how much crores of rupees they are spending to favor the laws and policies which benefits them, leaving the poor and the devastated and the middle class who are trusting the authorities, who are trusting the represented that they will do some favor, they are being washed out totally. So, and when it comes to the climate change, even the climate change also, it has been estimated that just 100 companies in the world have been responsible for 71% of the global greenhouse gas emissions. So this is the report given by the Carbon Disclosure Project. So just 100 companies in this world are responsible for 71% of the global greenhouse gas emissions. And no media will report this. No media will report this, and it has been campaigned again and again. It is as though the common people, their carelessness and their practices is affecting the climate conditions or the climate change, or their practices is affecting the atmosphere at large. It is not so. Of course, even though if it has been affecting, but majority, it is because of the greed of the corporations. It is because of the motive of the profit of the corporations, which affects our environment very badly when it has been compared to the common man's activities. Okay. Okay. So finally, I like to conclude with this slide. Privatization of basic needs. As I told you, when the government has less money, the private players or the corporations, they jump into the scenario and they try to provide solutions by privatizing it. So in Bolivia, what happened is that in the case of, there is a country called Bolivia. There, you won't believe, even the rain is being privatized. The laws that has been made in that country restricts the common people to harvest and segregate rainwater in their houses. That has been private. That has been criminalized by law. That is on one hand, and all the lake water, all the pond water, the river water, everything has been privatized. So there is one corporate company which took over the water in that particular country and privatized it. So at one point of time, people protested against it. Millions of people came out on the streets and they threw out both the government which supported that company and the company out of the country. So that was the historical moment in which the common people won over the corporation. So finally, inequality is the product of deliberate policy choices, of which the two biggest drivers are market fundamentalism and capture of power by economic elites. So inequality takes many forms and strikes in different aspects of human rights, including access to education, employment, possibilities, expression of sexual orientation, and religious beliefs, among others. So fighting for social justice would include making sure those basic human rights can be practiced freely. Thank you. So I would like to stop here. If you have any questions, so I would like to answer those questions. Thank you. Thanks for your patience.
Ilango? Sir. Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yes.
Being a democratic country since independence, yet we can't foresee of inequality in our country, sir. Is there any means of how we can fight about it?
Yeah. See, inequality can be fought. Inequality can be fought in our country by stern political decisions. That is what is the way. So, what if you just look at what is happening in our country, last year alone, we have favored the corporates by giving them 5.5 lakh crores of tax exemptions for the corporates. On the other hand, we are cutting down the subsidy for the LPG. So it was before it was 450 rupees or 420 rupees, I think. But today the rate of the LPG gas it has been doubled, right? Today we are paying the full price. So on the one hand, we are cutting down the subsidies that is being provided for the common man in this country. On the other hand, we are giving tax exemptions. Not only tax exemptions, we are giving the land for the corporations for subsidized rate. We are giving water and electricity for the corporates for subsidized rates. Okay, so this is the deliberate policy decisions of the government, and the only way is that electing the right government or the pressure of the people towards the government to do the things right. That's what happened in farmers bill, right? I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, sir. So one more question.
Yes.
As you told, every sector is being privatized each day.
Yes.
You know, whenever a sector is getting privatized, the organizers and the workers protest against it.
Yes.
And people suffer because of the price hikes due to privatization.
Yes.
How far is it good to a country like India to get totally privatized? Is it good, sir? If it's not, why is it happening?
See, not only in India, even in USA, privatization of everything they are facing. The common people in United States of America or the lower middle class sections in the United States of America is facing the problem of extreme privatization and commercialization. They are facing the problem there. So in a country like India, where you have two extremes, that's what I told you. So nearly half the population owns just 4.8% of total wealth in our country. And how can we expect that if we are going to privatize everything? How can we expect that they are going to bear it? See, one fact I'll give you. So I think the government of India's the BPL line, below poverty line, the estimation that they have made, they have kept it, I think for urban area it is 32 rupees and for rural area it is 26 rupees, I think. So if an individual earns 32 rupees in urban area, okay, a person, say for example, a person living in Chennai earns 32 rupees and above, he doesn't come under the poverty line. Okay, so he is above the poverty line. He is not, he is no more below the poverty line. The same person who resides in the rural area, he is, if he earns 26 rupees and above, he doesn't come under below poverty line. This is the scale that we have in our country. And we know very well how stupid this particular categorization is, or this drawing of scale is. So what we can do with 32 rupees for the entire day, a person wants to pay his rent, a person wants to eat 3 days, 3 times a day, a person wants to fulfill other basic amenities. Whether it's possible for an individual to do all these things with 32 rupees, so it's really stupid. Okay, and even though the government has drawn this line, more than 40% of people in India, they fall under this particular category of BPL, below poverty line. இவ்வளவு குறைவான ஒரு ஸ்கேல நிர்ணயம் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறமும் இந்தியாவில் 40% மக்கள் வந்து வறுமை கோட்டு கீழே தான் இருக்கிறாங்க அப்படின்னா, அப்போ எல்லாத்தையும் பிரைவேடைஸ் பண்ணிட்டா எவ்வளவு மோசமான ஒரு விளைவுகளை ஏற்படுத்தும் அப்படின்றத நான் உங்க கற்பனைக்கே விட்டுறேன். தேங்க்யூ.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Sir, one question, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Ambedkar has framed our constitutional needs.
Unmute and speak, ma.
Sir, Dr. Ambedkar has framed our constitutional laws, but still equality doesn't exist in our soil. So, what we will do needs to be done, sir, in the current scenario.
Yeah. Can you repeat the question? I couldn't get you properly.
Okay, sir. Sir, Dr. Ambedkar has framed our constitutional laws, but still equality doesn't consist in our soil. So, what we have to done in current scenario?
See, yeah, thank you. See, when Ambedkar and his team framed this constitution, he made two important comments. One is what he told is that we have drafted a constitution based on the modern ideologies. Okay, so there is if a person follows particular constitution, if the person in the power, people in power follows this constitution, there will be political equality. But at the same time, what happens is that in society we don't have equality. Say, I'll give you one example. Constitution says that untouchability is a punishable offense. Untouchability is a crime. Okay, we all agree to that. When you look at the scenario in society, the official declaration of the government of Tamil Nadu states that in more than 7,000 villages, this is the official data by Tamil Nadu. More than 7,000 villages in Tamil Nadu, untouchability is being practiced some way or the other. So unless or until, from the viewpoint of Ambedkar, unless or until, if we doesn't achieve the social equality, which is coupled with economic equality, then the sense of political equality or then the notion of political equality will go in vain. There is no use in it. It will be just a documented paper alone. That's what he mentioned. And secondly, he also made one more comment. So whatever the constitution may be, however the constitution may be framed, if those people who come into the power, if they are good-hearted and they have that desire and commitment towards the downtrodden, towards the common people, how bad the laws are, they can turn it into good and give it to people. And in spite of that, how good the constitution are, if the people in the power are bad and who favors the privileged sections, then there is no use keeping that constitution. That is the two comments that has been made by Ambedkar to achieve social justice in this country. Okay, so achieving social justice is not just achieving it politically. Achieving social justice is through the real achieving of social justice is through economic equality and social equality in terms of gender, in terms of caste, in terms of religion, etc., etc. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your humble, kind, knowledgeable words, especially on laws, inequalities, and social justice. Thank you so much, sir. We're happy to have you.
Thank you, Ilambo.
I'd like to invite Megha Kumari of second year BA Economics to give the vote of thanks.
Good morning to one and all gathered here. On this wonderful morning, I would like to present vote of thanks. It is a matter of pride for me that I got a chance to thank everyone present here. On behalf of IQAC and Department of Economics, I deem it a pleasure to propose vote of thanks. First, let me thank the chairman of our college, Chevalier Yanar Dhanapalan sir, secretary Mr. Prem Kumar sir, joint secretary Mr. Premchand sir for their constant support throughout the guiding us in the activities of our college. Now, I do place my sincere thanks to the Speaker of the Day, Professor Dhanasekhar sir, for having shared his valuable time in imparting knowledge to a student community on social justice. Now, my profound thanks to the principal of our college, Dr. Inita Levansi ma'am, and the vice principal of our college, Mrs. Jafia Soleman ma'am, for their support and guidance in the college activities. Thank you, ma'am. Now, I sincerely thank the HOD of Economics Department, Mr. V. Anavaras sir, for making this program a reality throughout the virtual meet. Thank you, sir. Then, I place my sincere thanks to all the HOD and the staff members of this college for having participated in this program and making it a great success throughout this virtual meet. Also, I place my sincere thanks Mr. Yuvanesh sir, HOD of VVA and ISM department. Sir is a technical person behind the program. Thank you, sir. Last but not the least, let me thank my own student community of this college. Without you, this function would not be success. Thank you, one and all.